position. I'm working on dominant positions and how to attack from there. Last week we looked at the mount. All right, we were up here. This week we're gonna look at the side control here, where instead of being parallel to a partner, we're perpendicular, right? So I'm at an angle here. The classic side control, I have an underhook. That means my arm is under his arm here. And I have a crossface here, which means that my other arm here goes under his neck. And just for control, I'm keeping my hands connected here, right? So the good thing about this position is as soon as we get past the legs, it's fairly accessible, right? So elbows playing guard. All right, I brought him to his back, I passed his guard. Like when we get down, we get right to it here, right? Now, there's a couple of reasons why we want to control this arm and be under it. Reason number one, if I'm not under this arm, it's under here, he has his chance to turn to his knees and start to get to my back here, right? When I put my arm under his arm, if he tries to get up, get to my back, my body's in the way, right? You'd have to chop my arm off first before you get through, right? So that's one important thing. So purely for control and defense, when I'm under this arm, it's harder for him to get behind me. Right? Second thing is it gives us access to attack this arm, which is what we're going to look at today. Right? So we're here, my arm here is controlling under the forearm. My left arm here is controlling under his neck. I start with my hands locked. Now, first thing we want to do is we want preferably to keep his hand on this side of my face here. If this comes in front, here he can start to frame me, where he can push me away, make space, and get out. So when I'm in here, I want to keep my head close to my hands. So when he tries to swim that frame in front of my face, it's very difficult, right? And from here, we're actually going to look at our first submission, which is going to be an Americana. So I'm in here tight. I feel like I got a good control of alpha here. I'm on two knees. What I'm going to look to do is I want to take my hand, my underhook hand here, I'm just going to put it to my chin here. All right. From here, I'm gonna look to take my crossface arm out here. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm essentially baiting Alpha a little bit here. He wants to get this arm in front of my face. When he tries to go for it, he runs into my head and my arm here. So he tries to get in front of my face. Here, he runs into my arm. Now, if you were here last week, you can see that his arm here is in shape of an Americana lock here. So all I need to do is apply my other hand. So I sit here, I don't have to control his neck that hard, so I'm just relaxed with this other arm. When he swims his hand in front of my face, I catch with my forehead, my other arm comes in, I push his wrist to the mat, and I already have this hand in place. I'm gonna take my right hand and grab my wrist. I'm gonna make sure to take my head over my hands. My top elbow blocks his neck. Okay, I control here, and here's how we're gonna finish it. This hand here that's grabbing his wrist, I'm just gonna use that to pin the hand to the mat. The other arm here does most of the work here. The way I do the work is I start, after I pin his wrist here, I start to pull my right elbow up, and I wanna look to pull it gently over his ribs here. That's gonna put a lot of pressure on his elbow and his shoulder. So look here, as I pull, I lift my elbow and I look to pull it across his chest here. It's gonna put a lot of pressure on Alpha's arm, specifically the elbow and the shoulder. Okay, so we're going back to here. So start with your control. Underhook, under the forearm, crossface, head down. You can start with your hands locked, then you can just keep your chin over your hands. When we wanna go for something, we wanna open our hands. So I open my hands and I take my hand to my chin here. Right. Now I can put my head up a little bit, and for Alpha it feels like he has some space here, so he's going to start to swim that arm in. When it comes in front of my face here, I block with my forehead, my left arm lets go of the head, comes in front of his face, and I push the wrist down. As I push the wrist down, my elbow goes in front of his head for control, and now look here, look at my wrist. Right now my hands are unconnected. I'm going to look to grab my right hand to my left wrist here to connect everything. I keep pushing down with the left, and I'm looking to lift my right elbow, and I'm looking to pull it across his ribs. It's not gonna get there because by the time it gets there, he's either tapping or I'm breaking his arm. So go slow. When he feels the tension build up, he taps with his hands twice on me. He can't tap on me. He verbally says tap. If he can't do that for some reason, he can stomp the floor to mark that he's done. Okay? Don't wait to see the fireworks. This is a powerful submission. So once you feel the tension in your arm, either in the elbow, the shoulder, or both, you tap on your partner. Okay? So let's practice this move with our partner, back and forth.